My name's Ava. I'm a Scorpio.
No. What's your last name?
Oh, Ava Combs.
What's your other last name?
Ava Baroni.
Eva Baroni Combs. Diddy adopted a white child. I want you to tell them the story about how I adopted you. But you still have beautiful parents.
So then he saw me and decided to pick me up and said to come inside and play with his kids.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
Breaking news is lighting up the internet right now, and people are straight up stunned. Ava Baron Combs, the mysterious young protege once paraded around by Sean Diddy Combs-like family, has vanished into thin air. That's right. The same girl Diddy once introduced during a bizarre live stream as his so-called adopted daughter is now the center of a chilling investigation. No one's seen her. No one knows where she is. And the silence is loud. Folks everywhere are asking, what really happened to Ava? And more importantly, what's Diddy hiding? Her disappearance has everybody digging deeper into the twisted maze that is Diddy's world, a place packed with secrets, controversy, and straight-up strange behavior. This whole saga blew up early this morning, with whispers turning into reports from sources inside the law enforcement scene. One anonymous investigator even spilled that this case is way bigger than it looks on the surface. It's not just about a missing girl. It's about what her vanishing might expose behind the scenes. Ava was last spotted nearly 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles, a city known for flashing lights, fame, and behind the scenes, real danger. She was reportedly staying at one of Diddy's massive Beverly Hills mansions, the same spot that once hosted his legendary celebrity-packed parties. But now it's ground zero in a case that's got people asking, what really went down? What was supposed to be a simple check-in from Ava's family spiraled into pure chaos. No texts back, no calls answered. Her phone? Dead? Social media? Completely silent. It's like she vanished into thin air. And when the cops finally got involved, things got even sketchier. Key surveillance footage from Diddy's property had suddenly disappeared. Like, gone. No explanation. Is this just a coincidence? Or is someone trying to cover something up? But to understand this mess, we gotta rewind. How did Ava, just a teen back then, even end up connected to Diddy in the first place? Back in 2020, during a now infamous Instagram Live.
You know, there's a short life in
Why do you think that is, what the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take, you're going through so much shit to try and deal with life.
Diddy introduced Ava to the world as his adopted daughter. The video made people uncomfortable. Something felt off. In it, Diddy claimed that Ava's mom had given him permission to step in and take care of her. He told Ava, right there on camera, "I adopted you because I felt you could enjoy also having a black parent to take care of you and help you out." People were confused. The whole thing felt rushed, weird, and way too public for something so personal. Now with Ava gone and footage missing, that strange video hits completely different. At first glance, it all looked innocent, maybe even sweet. Diddy claiming to take Ava under his wing seemed like a kind gesture, but something about it just didn't sit right. His words? Way too polished. The whole vibe? Way too staged. And when Ava, clearly nervous and unsure, called him Papa Combs, people watching live straight up winced. It felt awkward then, but now, after everything that's unfolded, that moment gives people chills. But buckle up, because it only gets darker from here. See, after the backlash, Diddy and his team tried to spin it. They said the whole adoption thing was just a joke, a skit that went too far. But now insiders are stepping forward, and they're saying that was just a cover-up. According to someone deep inside Diddy's circle, Ava's connection to him wasn't some random act of kindness. It was planned, carefully. Word is Ava's mother had known Kim Porter, Diddy's late ex, and that's how the door opened. Allegedly, Diddy convinced Ava's mom to let the girl spend time in his world, around his people, in his homes. But why? That's the question investigators are digging into right now. Was Ava brought in for show, just another piece of his public image? Or was there something far more disturbing going on behind the scenes? And here's the thing. For all the talk of adoption, there was never any legal paperwork. TMZ even confirmed it back when the video went viral. No official documents, nothing filed. It was all smoke and mirrors. Still, That didn't stop Diddy from acting like Ava was part of the family.
You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. You know, who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what Heath had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card.
She was seen on his socials, smiling beside his twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah, dressed up, photo ready, always picture perfect. To outsiders, Ava just looked like another piece of Diddy's flashy empire. But behind those polished posts, something way murkier was brewing. And now, all of this is unraveling. Fast. What's turning this into a full-blown nightmare are the new twists in Diddy's ongoing federal trial. That's right, the same case that has him facing serious charges. Trafficking, racketeering, and other long-running accusations. With Ava's name now linked to his circle and surveillance footage mysteriously gone, this story is exploding, and investigators are connecting the dots in ways nobody saw coming. Prosecutors have already laid out a disturbing blueprint of what they say Diddy was really running. A hidden empire built on manipulation, pressure, and flat-out control. With accusations of twisted gatherings, behind-closed-doors coercion, and serious abuse, things were already looking dark. But now, with Ava missing, there's a terrifying new question in the air. Was she part of it? Could Diddy's so-called adoption have been more than a PR stunt? Was it actually a move to keep her close, out of sight and off the radar? Or worse, to pull her into a secret world of exploitation? Anonymous insiders tied to the investigation are speaking up, and what they're saying is chilling. One source, who says he worked security at Diddy's Beverly Hills estate, claims Ava was often at private events that most people weren't allowed near. These weren't your average Hollywood parties. These were elite-only, no cameras, sign the NDA or don't show up type of events. The vibe? Power, silence, and control.
Card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Reports say Hollywood A-listers and up-and-comers alike would show up, all eager to get Diddy's attention. But the rules were strict. No phones, no questions, and definitely no leaks. While there's no direct evidence tying Ava to any illegal acts, just knowing she was around these hush-hush gatherings is enough to make your skin crawl. But it gets worse. Word is, new documents tied to Ava's disappearance have started leaking. And what they suggest could flip this case upside down. Law enforcement insiders are whispering about a paper trail, and it's not just about Ava. These docs allegedly connect her mom to financial dealings with Diddy's companies. Transfers, deposits, payouts, the kind of stuff that raises eyebrows fast. Was her mom pressured? Was the whole adoption arrangement part of a bigger scheme? Some believe Diddy saw an opening, a vulnerable family, a chance to play savior. And behind that fake smile, something way more cold and calculated. Ava wasn't just introduced to his world. She might have been pulled in for a reason that's only now starting to come to light. But wait, it gets wilder! A jaw-dropping twist just dropped, and it's coming from someone nobody expected. Actor Terrence Howard. Yes, that Terrence Howard, who's already been making waves with his viral courtroom testimony, spilling shocking claims about Diddy's behind-the-scenes behavior in Hollywood. In his statement, Howard didn't hold back. He described deeply disturbing moments during Diddy's private get-togethers, events most people would never even know existed. While his testimony focused on his own troubling experiences, he casually mentioned seeing young, vulnerable individuals in the mix.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone.
And that one detail has everyone asking, was he talking about Ava? If so, why hasn't he come forward with more? With the search for Ava getting more desperate by the day, the internet's lighting up with theories, the most bone-chilling, that Ava's disappearance might be tied to a much bigger trafficking operation. One allegedly operating under the cover of Diddy's glitzy empire. Police haven't confirmed it, but the pieces are starting to line up too well to ignore. Ava's sudden disappearance, the timing of Diddy's federal trial, the non-stop stream of shocking accusations, it's all looking way too connected. People are starting to wonder, is this the key to unlocking everything? Could Ava's case be the final crack that brings Diddy's hidden empire crashing down? But the rumors don't stop there. There's a disturbing whisper going around, and it involves Diddy's own sons, Justin and Christian Combs. Insiders say the two have gone strangely quiet since Ava vanished. Some even claim they've been keeping distance from their father. No posts, no appearances, nothing, just silence. And now people are wondering, what do they know? Is it guilt? Fear? Are they protecting someone? Or themselves? Ava Baron Combs didn't just go missing. Her disappearance lit a match that's now threatening to burn down what's left of Sean Diddy Combs' carefully crafted image. His empire, once untouchable, is cracking fast. And with every leaked document, every whispered testimony, every new lead, the truth gets harder to bury. One thing's for sure, this story's not over. Not even close. Sean Diddy Combs has always lived in a world built on power, money, and status. But now, as the curtain starts to fall, a darker reality is crawling into the light. One full of secrets, manipulation, and decades of whispers finally screaming to be heard. What began with Ava Baron Combs' sudden disappearance has now snowballed into a massive exposé, pulling the veil off of Diddy's alleged empire of control and exposing some of the biggest names in entertainment along the way. As more comes out, the deeper it cuts. Ava's case isn't just another missing person report. It might be the key to blowing this entire thing wide open.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head.
And to understand what we're truly dealing with, we've got to take a hard look at the pattern. Because this didn't start yesterday. Diddy's name has been tied to scandal for years. Lawsuits, accusations, backroom rumors. But with Ava gone, all those past shadows are suddenly front and center again. And the stories coming out now, they're beyond disturbing. Let's talk about those so-called freak-offs, a term prosecutors now use to describe a series of invite-only, no-camera events that were anything but normal. These weren't wild Hollywood parties. These were planned, practiced, and run like clockwork. An environment where Diddy allegedly had full control, from who showed up to what went down. Sources claim these gatherings were choreographed like productions. People weren't just partying, they were performing under pressure. Some were allegedly coerced, others too scared to say no. And according to insiders, Ava may have been around for some of them. Was her presence at that Beverly Hills mansion just bad timing? Or something way more intentional? Here's where it gets even more chilling. Prosecutors allege that entire teams were assigned just to prep these events. Not for the guests, but to cover up the evidence. Hotel rooms were reportedly rigged with soft lighting, fresh sheets, and substances meant to ease attendees into compliance. When the night was over, cleanup crews came in to wipe everything. Every trace. One insider didn't even call it a party, he called it a production. Everything from start to finish. The setup, the control.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me.
The silence was part of a system built to protect one man and bury anything that could ever damage his name. Could Ava's connection to these secretive events really have been just coincidence? Or was her presence planned, part of something way deeper than anyone realized? And if that's the case, could there still be evidence out there that hasn't been wiped clean? Even more disturbing is the question no one wants to ask out loud. How was all of this allowed to happen for so long? This wasn't just about Diddy's actions. It was about an entire network of insiders and enablers who kept the machine running. People who looked the other way. People who protected the brand instead of the truth. For years, Diddy was the blueprint for success. Money, fame, and power. And if you were in his circle, you benefited from that power. But now, as the walls start closing in, former insiders are finally speaking up. Anonymous sources, including ex-employees, are pulling back the curtain on a culture ruled by fear. One chilling quote from a former staff member says it all. Nobody questioned him. Nobody dared. If you did, you were gone, and trust me, you didn't want to be out. Was this toxic silence part of the reason Ava disappeared? And if so, who's still out here protecting him? Because this wasn't just a problem inside his mansion walls. That fear and silence, it ran through the whole industry. Hollywood's got a long history of dressing up the ugly with glitter and lights. Power players move in silence, and the unspoken rule has always been simple. Don't go against the machine. Speaking out against someone like Diddy didn't just mean drama, it meant career suicide. One former music executive, speaking under strict anonymity, put it like this: Diddy didn't just have money, he had pull. Lawyers.
Hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication.
Media plugs. People in the right places who could flip a story before it even got out. His grip on the narrative was iron tight. And that's exactly how stories like Ava's slip through the cracks. How many voices were silenced before hers? How many warnings were buried under NDAs and payoffs? Now, with the federal investigation heating up, things are starting to unravel fast. The charges? Trafficking, racketeering, years of alleged misconduct. But beyond the legal files, it's the human stories that cut the deepest. The personal accounts of control, fear, and manipulation. Cassie Ventura, once seen as Diddy's glamorous partner, has now become one of the loudest and most powerful voices in this unraveling scandal. When she filed her lawsuit, it exploded like a bombshell across the media. And just as quickly as it appeared, it was settled, in hours. That fast resolution had people asking, what was Diddy trying to hide? In her claims, Cassie laid it all bare. Years of manipulation, control, alleged abuse. She painted a picture of a man obsessed with dominance, using his fame, wealth, and influence to control every corner of her life. One of the most disturbing parts? She says she was forced to take part in those infamous gatherings, the ones prosecutors now describe as staged, ego-driven performances designed to prop up his image. If Cassie's experience is just one piece of the puzzle, how many others have been trapped in this same twisted web? Could Ava have been one of them? Diddy's legal issues don't stop with Cassie.
Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
There's a whole history, a growing trail of lawsuits going back decades. From physical altercations to allegations of coercion, the list is long, and the pattern? Chillingly consistent. One video from 2016 recently resurfaced, showing Diddy chasing and dragging Cassie down a hotel hallway. Back then, it was brushed off as a private matter, but now it's evidence. Evidence that supports a broader pattern of power, intimidation, and control. And the timing of Ava's disappearance? It's hitting way too close to the height of Diddy's current legal meltdown. The dots are connecting, and the questions just keep piling up. But perhaps the most explosive revelations so far have come from actor Terrence Howard, who's been dropping straight-up jaw-dropping testimony. Known for speaking his mind, Howard didn't hold back. He described being lured to private events under false pretenses, only to be exposed to bizarre and deeply unsettling behavior. Howard didn't stop there. He hinted at something even more troubling, a culture within Diddy's circle where young, impressionable individuals were routinely brought in and kept close. He didn't name names, but his words have everyone wondering the same thing. Was Ava one of them? And if she was?
I've lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
Where was the protection? Why hasn't anyone stepped up sooner? Even Diddy's own blood isn't off limits anymore. Justin and Christian Combs, once front and center in the spotlight, living that luxe lifestyle online, have suddenly gone quiet, too quiet. As the allegations stack higher and the investigation deepens, The silence from Diddy's sons is starting to speak volumes. These two used to flood social media with glam pics, flashy events, and proud moments with their father. Now, nothing. Radio silence. And people are starting to wonder, what do they know? Insiders are whispering that the brothers have quietly backed away from their father, stepping out of the spotlight for a reason. One source even dropped this cryptic line, "They know more than they're letting on." Could Justin and Christian be the missing link in this twisted puzzle? Do they hold the truth about what really happened to Ava? And if so, why haven't they come forward? Theories are spreading like wildfire. Some believe Ava's disappearance isn't an isolated tragedy. It's part of a bigger, darker pattern in the entertainment world. And if that's true, it's not just Diddy that needs to be held accountable. It's the entire system that's protected people like him for years. Hollywood's always had a hidden underbelly, a place where power shields the guilty, and silence is bought. Diddy's alleged activities? According to some experts, they're not an anomaly.
Are you done with Hollywood because of
No,
this
I
specific
mean,
reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the Chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them.
They're just the latest example of what's been happening for way too long. Ava's case has forced people to look again at that dark side and ask the hard questions about who's enabling this behind the scenes. Could this be the moment things finally change? Or will Ava's story, like so many others, be buried beneath red carpets and PR spin? But here's where things might take another wild turn. 50 Cent, never one to back down, is cooking up a documentary that promises to blow the lid off everything. Word is, this project isn't just talk. Insiders say it's loaded with exclusive interviews, unreleased footage, and evidence that could flip the entire narrative on its head. Will this doc finally deliver the answers everyone's desperate for? Or will it just throw more fuel on a fire that's already burning hot? As more pieces fall into place, one thing's becoming painfully clear. This story is bigger than anyone expected. Ava Baron Combs didn't just vanish. Her disappearance is part of a much bigger, more disturbing story. This isn't some one-off case. It's a piece of a decades-long pattern tied to power, control, and silence.
So, Terrence Howard appeared on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David, and the episode, this premiered on April 4th. Mm-hmm. Definitely making the rounds because in this episode, Terrence Howard describes an interaction with Diddy where he says that he believes that Diddy was trying to have sex with him.
And the deeper we look, the more questions we're left with. Where is Ava? What really happened to her? And maybe the darkest question of all, like how many others have been caught in this twisted game and never got the chance to speak? As the search for Ava pushes forward and the investigation into Diddy's empire continues to unfold, we have to ask ourselves, how much truth are we ready to face? Will justice finally be served? Or will this be just another case swept under the rug while the rich and powerful walk away untouched? It's time to speak up. It's time to demand answers. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated as this story continues to unravel. Because trust us, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning.